Hey everyone, welcome to r/Tales from Tech Support, where we get to have a little chuckle at the technologically disadvantaged. Like me. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. When the interviewee knows the business better than the business does. It's always useful to keep a finger on the job market pulse. I had an alert come up for a poster child company that had just gotten out of the garage startup phase and was making waves through an industry that I'm intimately familiar with. These guys had it all. Captive market, really cool product, young and fresh ideas, deep pockets, free reign to build IT as I saw fit, and an awesome office with great views. It was really a bonus when I found out that their office was across the road from a coffee bun place. They're so delicious. The role itself was fairly senior and would be integral in defining company strategy and product direction. My personal experience would help them avoid many of the pitfalls of the industry, and my contacts would lubricate many of the challenges they would come up against as they commercialized their product. And they were actually desperate for someone who could do just that. All this from the head of IT. Lol. Yes, please, gimme. Called up the recruiter, and within about 15 minutes they were begging. First round interview, straight to the top. You know that feeling when you've gelled perfectly with the interviewers? There's total alignment, and you've got it in the bag. The only thing that made my eyebrows raise a bit was it looked like everyone was in their 20s. I rewarded myself with a coffee bun. Second round interview was a bit strange. There was probably about a dozen people in the panel from across the business: engineering, marketing, product development, compliance, and half the C-suite. And it lasted about 3.5 hours. Lol. What? Once again, I'm the oldest person in the room by a significant margin. And this is where it actually fell apart. What became very apparent to me is that the company had no idea about the market they were playing in. Everybody was so focused on their own part of the puzzle that nobody had their eye on the bigger picture. In fact, they had no idea about the scale of the bigger picture, including all the CXOs in the room. The compliance activities that they thought would open the door to commercial opportunity in this industry was merely a gate check prior to being invited to talk to the real certification bodies. And they had no idea about the soul-crushing body of work that was just past what they thought the finish line was. Then I started to give them a rundown on things like defense clearances, reporting requirements, ITAR and EAR, the local regulatory regime, how to integrate nationality requirements within the bounds of employment law, the different standard bodies, and their relative importance, change management, advanced persistent threat, ASD 8/NIST 800, 171, etc., the various government grants available, etc. I already knew this job wasn't for me, but invested the time in trying to prepare them anyway, in the same way that a senior will help to teach a junior. I could see the CXOs getting more uncomfortable each time I peeled another layer off the proverbial onion, while the engineers were faithfully taking notes. Probably saved them a bunch of consulting costs. On my way out, I got another rewarding coffee bun. Yum. At the end of the day, I withdrew my application, and the recruiter let me know that they canned the position anyway. The budget was going to be spent on more compliance people instead. Lol. Remember, people, interviews go both ways. That is true, OP. Interviews do go both ways. It's funny how many people think that, if they're the owner of a business or the manager or whatever, the hiring entity, that it's all about them and they hold all the power. Or people that come in off the street to interview for the job that have the opinion that without workers, the company would be nowhere. It's never all one way or the other. That's why it's a negotiation, guys. The joys of an audit trail. On one system my team developed, I built functionality to optionally allow the auditing of data changes for any column in the database. This was built in response to a new requirement from the customer to audit changes to 3 columns in particular. But thinking ahead, it was obvious to me that this kind of audit trail would be very valuable to us in the future. So I built a more general-purpose auditing system, and used my own discretion to turn on auditing for any additional columns I judged would be an issue, which were many. I'm so glad I did, because anyone who's built a custom system like this and work support for it knows how much some users like to blame the system for their own inability to do their jobs properly, and will take every opportunity to try to throw you under the bus for their own F-ups. We got a lot of tickets from users where the audit trail saved our butt, but the user who really stood out was this one woman I'll call Janine. How this nitwit ended up managing projects worth tens of millions of dollars for a Fortune 500 company, I'll never know. Here are some examples of the kinds of tickets we'd get from Janine. We got multiple tickets from her for each of these scenarios, and I could be wrong, but I don't think we ever got a ticket from her that was valid. Someone changed my data. I set field X to value A, but someone's changed it to B. I demand to know what's going on. Well, actually, Janine, you created the record with value B, and it hasn't been updated since. The system's changed my data. Field X was value B, but now it's value A, and no one on my team changed it. I demand to know why your crappy system changed my data. Looking at the audit trail, Janine, it appears that your team member Q made that change on Thursday at 10:07 a.m. Someone's changed my data. I set field Y to value C, but someone's changed it to D. I demand to know who changed it. Apparently, Janine, it was value Z, but you changed it to D yourself 3 weeks ago. My data changed, and I know you people did it. I demand to know why you people are changing my data. You're quite right, Janine. We did change your data. And here's ticket number 5732, where you specifically directed us to make that change for you. So the moral of the story is, always have an audit trail. It won't stop the idiots from complaining, but at least it'll keep them from having you burned at the stake. Bonus Janine incident. To further illustrate just how truly stupid this woman was, one time she put in a ticket claiming that a specific field was missing from a screen in our app where she was viewing a particular record. Now mind you, this field was displayed in the same place on the page for every record in the system and was never hidden. And using our system was an integral part of her job. She used it all day, every day, so it's not like the location of this field was something she was unfamiliar with. But okay, sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut. So I log into the system as her, open the record in question, and lo and behold, the missing field is right there where it always is. Whatever. I close the ticket as invalid with a comment that the field is there and assign it back to the support liaison at the customer site. The ticket got reopened and assigned back to me twice, with the continuing claim that the field was missing. I ended up having to take a screenshot of the page in the app showing her record and the supposedly missing field, with a big red rectangle around the field, a big red arrow pointing to it, and bold red text saying something like, "Here it is." That finally ended it. Jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. Yeah, it always amazes me how people tend to blame things even if they're the ones that actively screwed it up or, messed something up through neglect. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, "Stupid car broke down." It ran out of oil. Stupid car. Yeah, you're supposed to check the oil and have it changed occasionally. Still a stupid car. Right. I'm on PTO. I don't have time for that. Prompt to reboot machine popping up on user's machine. Bottom right hand corner prompt. User would like to remove this prompt and not have it reappear. Informed user that a reboot would remove the prompt. User stated they did not want to reboot. I'm on PTO, just want to log in, do this work, and log the heck out. Rather than argue with user, I stated that I would open a ticket to desktop to see if they can remove this reboot prompt that the user could remove with a reboot. Informed user that this kind of reboot is usually due to laptop needing to perform critical system updates. User expressed disdain for any sort of forced reboot, using colorful language and a few oppressive government references. Informed user that they would see email notification of ticket creation. So, hands outstretched to desktop team, here's a ticket. Double finger guns. Well, first off, if you're on PTO, why are you doing any work? Second of all, when you were at work, why aren't you restarting your computer on a regular basis so it can do its updates and stay running smoothly? Always somebody else's fault. 11 minutes to fix the end user. EU stands for end user, by the way. Cast. Me, caller 1, and caller 2. Call starts. Caller 1. I'm having trouble printing a label to the label printer. From the label printing computer it says void. Me. Just want to clarify, when you say label printer, do you mean the large copier or are you talking about a tiny little printer? Caller 1. The label printer next to my desk. Me. Do you mean the really big copier next to your desk? I know the site well. Caller 1. Yes, the label printer next to my desk. Me. Okay, I'm going to remote in to see what's going on. I need you to go to this website. Let me know when you get there. Caller 1. Do I click the internet icon? Me. Pretend that you're going to check Facebook and type this web address in when you get there instead of typing facebook.com, and tell me when you've gotten to the website. Caller 1. Oh, okay. 2 minutes of dead air. Me. Did you get to the website? Caller 1. Yes. Me in my own head. Mother. Alright, type this code into the box and click download application. Caller 1. Okay. 2 more minutes of dead air. Me. I see that it's downloaded. I need you to click the application. Caller 1. What application? Me. The one you just downloaded? Caller 1. Where is it? She clicks the download app button a few more times. I know, because our program shows us when this happens. Me. What browser are you using? Customer 1. Chrome. Me. It's at the bottom. Customer 1. I don't see it. Me. Have you ever downloaded a file or anything? Customer 1. Not on this PC. Me. It's in your downloads folder. Customer 1. I don't know where that's at. Me. Search your PC for XX file name. Customer 1. How do I do that? Me. Click the search bar at the bottom of the screen and search for XX file. Customer 1. I always click at the top to search my computer. She's referencing Google Chrome's search function. This combo continues for an additional 6 minutes. Customer 1. I'm going to go get caller 2. Caller 2. Hey, me. Me. Hey, caller 2, I need you to click. While I'm saying this, she's already clicked it. So the problem was that caller 1 was clicking print sample instead of print label. It took me 15 seconds to resolve the problem, and 11 minutes to get the end user to figure out a way to click a damn button. Just a note, caller 2 is older than caller 1. Caller 1 is a sweet lady, but for God's sakes, I have zero clue how she got hired to the job she's in. I don't know, sounds like a case of nepotism or something, because she obviously doesn't know enough to be able to work around a computer. You can't please everyone. I run a small internal help desk that supports a few tools for customer service agents. Since we're customer service, we take our satisfaction ratings very seriously, and our customers are very understanding. With aggressive response time goals and strong follow-up on bad scores, our average satisfaction score has always been strong. We've come close to achieving a perfect month before, but something always comes out of nowhere just to end our streak. Like a few months ago, someone submitted a ticket to us for a tool we don't support. The other team won't let us transfer tickets or submit tickets on others' behalf, so we have no choice but to reject the ticket and redirect the customer. 1 out of 5 stars. Or more recently, I saw a 3 out of 5 score ticket with no agent assigned. Wait, how can you rate a ticket with no agent? The customer opened a ticket and then realized they forgot to include something. Since they couldn't find a way to edit the ticket, they canceled it, opened a new one, then rated the canceled ticket 3 out of 5 stars. This week we finally hit our streak. 30 days of perfect scores. Yeah, I have a problem with rating systems, honestly. Whether it's on a ticket system, on Amazon, shoot, even the one from my shop. You know, there's nothing to keep the customer from just bad-mouthing for the sake of bad-mouthing. And there's nothing to keep somebody on the other end, like me, the store owner, from, either rejecting them or doctoring the reviews. It's all kind of hinky. Sometimes the problem is that you overthink it. So I just finished working at an IT help desk for my university, which means I have a few interesting stories. However, this was a pretty recent thing and definitely made me feel as much of an idiot as the poor woman I was helping. My uni gave out laptops for students at the beginning of the year due to remote learning. They're pretty decent and we had no real issues from students with them. This poor woman, though, called me at my desk to ask about her internal camera, which she said hadn't worked all year. But it was only not recognizing the face, but backgrounds on Teams showed up. I immediately figured it was a hardware thing and asked her to drop by the desk in person with the laptop. You probably know where this is going. Please don't think me too dim. I had to look at the settings, etc. to ensure it wasn't a software problem and then gave the machine itself a look over for any damage. At this point, I was pretty confused as to what was going on. I messaged my supervisor to get the case notes as she said she had contacted us previously. While waiting for the response and racking my very tired brain, I brushed some fluff off the top of the screen and accidentally hit the lens cap over the webcam. I felt very dim, and the poor lady felt even more embarrassed as she had not copped this over the last year. It really is the smallest stuff that ends up tripping me up. I'm right there with you. When I was troubleshooting anything in construction or tech, my brain automatically goes to worst case scenario instead of looking at the easy stuff. Looks like one of my users will get the monitor equals computer talk tomorrow. I work IT at a small medical practice. One of our receptionists was complaining that the scheduling software was being slow and doing strange things. I wasn't in my office at the time, but the receptionist found one of the administrative assistants who suggested that she restart her PC. The assistant alerted me to the complaint, and I concurred that a reboot would probably solve it. On my way out today, I stopped by the front desk, logged in as administrator, went to Task Manager, and found that the uptime was 4 days, 23 hours, and counting. Obviously, it wasn't actually rebooted. So tomorrow I'm going to ask her to show me how she restarts the computer. Perhaps she didn't restart it because somebody showed up at the desk right after she got back, or perhaps I have encountered my first user who thinks that the monitor is the computer. If anybody's even remotely interested, I'll update the post. Anticlimactic update. I talked to the user this morning. She says she never restarted and just signed out as usual. Furthermore, both receptionists were having trouble with the scheduling software, which likely indicates either a slow connection or that the vendor was having issues yesterday. So I still have yet to actually see a user who thinks that the monitor is the computer. Well, either you lucked out, OP, or people are actually starting to learn that one does not equal the other. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you've enjoyed this content, would you do me a favor? Would you consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe click that little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya!